Hey, what's up, guys? This video I'm going to be talking about the role certain pharmacology has played all through history in the role in human evolution. So, to put quite simply, there's various compounds, plant compounds, and in more recent times, synthetic compounds, which we have used, and as a result of us using them, that has shaped human history, human evolution. Now, some of the examples I'm going to give are kind of theoretical, although I believe theoretical being the fact that we're dealing with prehistory, so nobody knows for real what happened there. But we have some hypothesis, which of some valid theories which happened in the role that the substances, entheogens, drugs, hallucinogenic drugs that prehistoric and our ancient ancestors, like, look at how long actually humans have been here, millions, like a long time, okay? Not just humans, but hominids in general. There was some point in time where the human brain, the prefrontal cortex, grew substantially, and some theorized that it was around this time that whatever prehistoric humans were using some entheogens, such as hallucinogens, such as psilocybin and or DMT, or various compounds that triggered an expansion of consciousness, like it fast-tracked their evolution, so that they're using their prefrontal cortex more in advanced problem solving, as well development of language, of art, like potentially cave paintings, and other ritualistic circumstances which led to maybe the structure of early societies. The role of potentially shaman or high priests, you know what I mean, the most evolved of the tribe, using these compounds and then shaping the path of the tribe, which then shaped the trajectory of human history. And I have quite the experience with psychedelics through my life. I haven't used them as much recently, although I do use DMT on occasion, and I can see how this would manifest. Like the symbolism, like when you take, holy shit, there's a major car accident that happened here. I have to somehow bypass this. So when you take hallucinogenic drugs, like you can see different symbolism, and it's like mosaics and kaleidoscopic patterns, and I've even seen like alien languages and things in my head, like when I close my eyes. So if say some prehistoric human took like a big handful of mushrooms, I would think that they're seeing the same thing. So then if they record that, and there's generations of them kind of recording that, then that would have shaped history, and that could have been the essential start of language and or art. Okay, that's the stoned ape theory, it's called. I first remember hearing this a long time ago, 20 plus years ago, from Terence McKenna. But I think there's a lot of validity there. The role that the plant medicines, the plant pharmacology compounds, the entheogens, were in early human development. It triggered something, okay? And throughout history, there's been examples of other plant compounds that have been instrumental in society as tools, which then shaped human history and human evolution. More recent example, and you might laugh at this, but it's a good one, is the role of caffeine in industrial revolution, productivity, and that it was actually, that's what I remember hearing some interesting history about this, that in the I think it was the 1920s or just before that, the role coffee played in the productivity and the coffee break, the start of the coffee break. They realized that the managers and the owners of the companies realized that if they gave their workers coffee breaks, they were more productive, and it was because of the stimulant factor. There's also other examples of the use of other stimulants like amphetamines in war, which then shaped human evolution and history. And that goes back to a long time ago, actually. The ancient Germanic tribes used stimulants, but then the more recent, and Nazis also used stimulants, and now in the Middle East they use stimulants as well. Some of the fundamental Islamic militant groups. Okay, what's the one called? Captagon, it's called. So there's various examples. I'm just illustrating a few of the use of pharmacology and the way plants and other compounds, chemicals, actually shaped history. In more recent times, hallucinogenics again, we can see cultures being flourished out of hallucinogenic use, like LSD in the 60s, and in more recent times, things like electronic music is totally fueled and directed by use of various drugs. Okay? The music, the culture in general is shaped by it. Shaped by drug use of various kinds. Now, to relay this to the videos series that I've been making recently, I've been stating that the same is true with the use of steroids. First of all, steroid has a whole culture associated with it, the bodybuilding culture, and now the online culture. So, and it's a hot topic, right? And look at videos online of more plates, more dates, and Vigorous Steve, and it's very popular topic, and many people are using them. There's a culture now. There's a culture in these steroid forums that where you can get them to be sold to you. Okay, so underground forums and such. There's a whole culture there, and that culture is shaping modern culture. And I go to the gym and I can spot at least 5 guys on it. Okay, so it's prevalent, even though it's kind of below the surface, below, in kind of our collective unconscious, because everybody's not directly aware of it. It's happening, and like it or not, human history is being shaped by it. Human evolution is being shaped by it. Now, just as certain compounds were used primitively back in the day, I believe steroids can and have been used primitively, but that doesn't mean that there's not an advanced application for it. Just like hallucinogenics can be used primitively. It could be used recreationally. Some guy's 13 years old, like myself, eat a big handful of mushrooms and is in a state of confusion and doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And then there's other people who can use it for actual therapeutic purposes and actual application. There's in the tech industry, there's being LSD was being apparently used throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s in Silicon Valley, even up until this day, to create ideas about programming. I heard people. That's how they brainstorm. They would brainstorm taking LSD and come up with something that was revolutionary. I can't think off the top of my head, but I remember hearing stories about this. Okay, because there's potentially something to the use of these compounds and things, and language, and our development in general as a species. Our physical development, our linguistic development, our cognitive development, our cultural development, our health and science. Going back to the steroids, it's not just steroids. It's also just the use of exogenous compounds, hormones and such. such as HGH, and potentially ones that are yet to be discovered, could potentially lead to longevity, where we could be living up until 150 easy, 200 years old. Of course, with other factors involved, but the use of something that preserves our body tissues and organs and things and musculoskeletal system would mean that we'd be able to live a lot longer, functional, right? And that in itself would change human history, human evolution. We would live a lot longer, okay? And human evolution doesn't mean that necessarily that's something that's like hereditary, that we're passing down through our gametes or whatever else, right? Our sperm and eggs. It means that it's things like that's around our environment that will shape our environment and shape things that are so fundamental in the human experience. That's what human evolution is. It's like the Industrial Revolution was a stage in human evolution. The agricultural, back in the day when they figured out how to domesticate animals and plow fields, that was a huge major stage in human evolution. The use of entheogens, human evolution. The use of steroids, human evolution. You see where I'm getting at here? And I think this is something that is actually pretty revolutionary, and to pat myself on the back in this approach, this mindset, because I think it's valid. It's 100% valid, and it's something that nobody's fucking talks about. The role that certain compounds play in human cognition, human consciousness, and human evolution. It's so apparent. It's so obvious. And what would make steroids any different? I know that some people would say, because potentially they're harmful. Yeah, I get that. But that doesn't mean, other drugs are harmful too. It doesn't mean that they didn't shape human history. Hallucinogens and things, I don't think they're healthy per se, but nonetheless they expanded the mind, expanded abstract thinking and problem solving and all types of things. Okay. So I'm trying to tie this in with my other videos. So if potentially it's like 1, 2, 3 punch, watch my other video about just the steroids in human evolution. Watch this one, and I'm painting a bigger picture here, okay? And I can further elaborate on certain specifics, although I probably won't in this video, because I want to keep this one more general, getting to the bigger picture and seeing how various compounds that we use. Let's try to think of one more. Can I think of another one? Let's talk about stimulants, caffeine. I guess alcohol plays a role in culture, whether we like it or not. It's kind of a more depressing one. It doesn't really aid in, evolving us to the next level of a species or whatever. And same per se with maybe some steroids, but I think there's other ones where, and especially things like HGH, if we utilize that in longevity, in human health, in sciences, I think that would be a major shaping factor in human evolution. And maybe there's a better word than evolution. That's the one I use because it is just like everybody knows what I mean by that. And it actually changes us who we are fundamentally. When you take steroids on a fundamental level, then imagine if if there was a certain percentage of the population that use steroids, like I'm going to say 5%, which isn't unrealistic. I believe just based on those 5% of people taking it and the masculinization effects and the change of our psychology and such, that 5% could change the rest of the 95%. And same goes with hallucinogens. Like if 5% of the population took LSD, you'd see a lot more different aspects of culture. You'd probably walk down the street and hear a lot more trippy music and visualizations and people wearing different clothes and talking differently and things, right? It would shape culture. Shaping culture, shaping our evolution. Okay? So I want you guys to think of any other examples. I know there's probably a few more that I just can't think off the top of my head, but I think I covered the most important ones that I wanted to address, and then relay it back to steroid use, or just anabolic use, HRT use, for more therapy or applied applications to leverage something that would, the leveraging being changing human evolution for the better. So I'll leave it there, guys. What are your thoughts about this video? I talked to some individuals online already about this, and some people were not so open-minded to it. Some people, I think, are, to an extent, maybe a little bit. I know it's a new novel concept to some of you, but just roll around in your head and let me know what you think, because maybe there's some aspects of what I'm saying that's wrong, or could be expanded upon, or not wrong, but half right, or you know what I mean? So there might be some things that, again, I should elaborate on, and the best way for me to elaborate is for you guys to provide feedback on that, and then I can elaborate on, okay? So I love when people do that. I love when people have, and my whole aspiration here is to have constructive conversation, intelligent conversation, okay? And to kind of go out on a limb, and kind of, that's what I like to do too. I kind of like to touch on things that, not normally people talk about. Yeah? Go out on a limb and go and talk about things that maybe are slightly controversial, or things that people don't normally think about. So, again, leave in the comment section below, like this video if you enjoy what I had to say, and have a great evening/day.